Hi, and welcome to Director's Call. I'm your host, Lily.
And I'm your other host, Katie.
And today we will be interviewing Wes, a director at the Media Center. So Wes, how is it going?
Going really well. Thanks for having me on the show. Really looking forward to all the questions that you guys have for me.
Are you ready to start?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. What got you into directing?
That's a good question. What got me into directing, well, I took one of the summer camps here at the Media Center back when I was in, I think it was 7th grade. And then I took the camp, started volunteering. I became an intern here, and I did some of the camera work, and I became a floor director, and and then I moved into the studio, and I did in the control room, I did some work at audio and graphics and switcher and all that. And then it was finally kind of time for me to try directing, and so that was like 3 or 4 years ago I started directing, and I've been doing it ever since.
So would you say your inspiration was to be where you were now?
Well, one of my longtime goals was to be a camera operator at a professional sporting event, which I did. So now I'm kind of setting my sights a little bit higher. But yeah, directing is certainly a lot of fun, and I really enjoy directing shows.
That sounds very fun.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about directing?
Well, one of my favorite parts about directing is most definitely kind of taking a producer's idea and taking their vision and sort of making it happen. They put a lot of work before the show, a lot of pre-production work to make everything set up and happening the way it is, and then they kind of pass it off to the director, and the director takes the reins. And so it's sort of like your duty to make sure that it comes out really well. And so I really take pride in that, in making great shows. And I also really appreciate good communication between the crew and the director and the producer. And to help with that, we do have this manual here that helps the director with all of the different, the sequence of events during the setups, different commands with directing, all the calls, relationships with the crew, all of that. So the Blue Manual, very helpful when it comes to communication and learning how to direct.
Does that help deal with the intense pressure? And where could you get one of these? They sound very helpful.
Well, it does.
People who are becoming amateur directors.
Yeah, it does. It is very helpful, and you can get them here at the Media Center. We have them you can borrow for crew, and it does help relieve some of that pressure. For the beginning directors, sometimes it's nice to have like a piece of paper with some instructions and like something to guide you. So it's definitely helpful, and I used to use it when I started.
Have you ever directed like a bad show or like bad talent?
That's a good question. I wouldn't say there was necessarily a bad show or like with bad crew or bad talent or like a bad subject, but I guess something that's sometimes difficult is when you sometimes there's a show where it's just like 2 people on a set, they're just talking for an hour about something that's not necessarily that interesting. Those shows are a little bit more mundane for a director, as opposed to like this music show where you have 6 people in a band and the cameras are all over the place and you have a live audience and lots of lights and colors and everything. That's a lot more exciting, and it makes the director's job a lot more fun.
I've heard that being a director is very stressful. I mean, you hear about a lot of directors quitting. But I haven't heard about the easy parts. So what makes being a director easy?
Well, some easy things about it, like I said before, was good communication. Good communication is super helpful. And also, the crew can make or break a show. I mean, the director is only as good as their crew. I kind of liken it to like an octopus. Like the director is like the body of the octopus, and then all of the tentacles are the different jobs on the crew. The octopus, you need all 8 tentacles for the octopus to be successful. And if one of them isn't working too well, or if the director is off, or if somebody isn't doing what they need to be doing, the whole system is kind of thrown off. So, but having a great crew makes the director's job so much easier.
But in smaller sets, would you say instead of an octopus, it's a squid? with only 6 tentacles and
Sure.
it's kind of easier?
Yes, you can do, depending on the size, you can, whatever sea creature you can think of, yes.
Do you get like frustrated often? What are some challenges that you face as a director?
That's a great question. Some challenges I face, sometimes when you have somebody who is more at a beginner level of TV production, you're trying to communicate with them on sort of a basic level. You want to make sure they understand. You're trying to teach them a little bit. And you also have to communicate at the same time with somebody who's at a much higher level of education when it comes to TV production. So working with those two sides simultaneously, it can be hard sometimes. You know, you have to make everybody kind of happy. That's something the producer and the director do a lot of, is sort of like damage control. You kind of, everybody has to be happy, sort of, and you got to make sure that everybody's feeling okay at the level that they're at. So it's important to make someone who doesn't really know a lot feel like they're valued, without letting someone who knows a lot kind of get out of control.
So would you say that you get frustrated dealing with all of them?
Well, I try not to get frustrated because a lot of times the crew that I deal with is a volunteer-based crew. So it's a crew that they're volunteering their time, and they are and they're here on their own time. And so you really want to respect their time and their effort. And so I really try not to get frustrated too much. Sometimes before, right at the beginning of a show, before we start, I'll say, you know, just in advance, I'm sorry if I yell at you. I don't mean it, I promise. But sometimes when things escalate during a show, you just kind of get out of control, and sometimes you have to yell to say something. So I try and apologize ahead of time, and I really do try and stay under control.
Okay, I think that's it.
Oh, and we have one more question.
Sure.
Just for a quick question.
Yep.
Do you have any tips for people who want to become directors?
That's a great question. Some tips. Well, first of all, try not to get too frustrated. I know there's a lot going on in the director's mind when something is happening. Just try and keep your cool, because it can get out of hand pretty quickly. And also have fun. This is all about having fun. So as long as you're having a good time, then nobody can complain about that.
Oh, well, thanks, Wes, for coming here, and it's been really fun, and I hope everyone got something out of it.
Well,
So
thanks for having me.
That's it on Director's Call. See you later.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Okay, well,